Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. So, how do you edit low light event photography pictures? Well, why don't we find out how to? I did an event just the other night and I've got 96 pictures here that I can go through, that I need to go through for the client. And we will go through them and edit them as we go. So I haven't actually looked through any of these pictures so far. And just so you know, the editing that you see, the final pictures that you see, are the ones that I do hand over to my clients. I don't go back and, re-edit them. So let's have a look. What do we have? I have a very squeaky mouse is what I have. See? Very, very squeaky mouse today. So, the two lenses that I used for this event, I used the 24-105, as you can actually see here, quite a wide lens. And I also used the 50mm 1.8, especially for stuff like this. Although this is quite dark, what information have we got here? So we do have ISO 2500, not too bad. And if we go back to this one here, you can see again what lens was used, what camera was used, the 5D Mark II. I've got to say, I love that camera still, even though it is about 10 years old now. So let's go through these pictures. What do we have here? So we have a 50mm one, I believe. No, this is 24-105, sorry. Now this is an f4, so we are experiencing, we are going to have higher ISOs and slower shutter speeds than the 50mm, but we still have quite a lot of light coming into it. We still have fairly near, something I was about to say that I was going to say fairly quick-ish shutter speeds. We got 1/25 of a second, 25th of a second. And then I saw the hand here that is a lot of motion blur, should we say. So let's see what can we retrieve from this image. To be fair, I don't really think we need to retrieve much from this image. Maybe a little bit of brightening up. Maybe we'll lift some of the shadows. But again, because of the Canon colors, we don't really need to do much to it. I mean, maybe some noise reduction, which I don't normally like to do, because it smooths out the image and makes it look horrible. But yeah, other than that, we don't really need to do much. I mean, there's the original and there's the post-processing. Original, post-processing. I mean, even if we have a look at some of the presets from someone like Chris Hugh, I mean, that doesn't look too bad, but that looks horrible. But yeah, these... We're not really going to need to do much to these, so we will just export that to camera roll. There we go. And we've got one here of both of them, although this one is a little bit crooked. So we'll try and go with that one. And we'll just straighten that up. We'll let Lightroom straighten it up because I can't be bothered. Although this one, because... we got 1/40th of a second, ISO 800, f1.8. So this is the 50mm. I didn't realise this was a 50mm. I didn't have this in full manual mode. I had this in aperture priority, I believe. No, shutter priority. And my cat has just walked by. Yeah, it was aperture priority. Or was it? No, it was shutter priority. Or was it aperture? I don't know. I didn't have it in manual, so that's why it is actually really dark. But I am glad that, these are raw images, because we can just bring back some of that detail, more than what we could with a JPEG. And there we go. Now then, what next? You can see the effects of the shutter speed actually. What have I got here? So we got, wow, a 1/6. So let's move on to the next one, and we'll move on to this one here. Now we're not actually going to edit this one because this is shot at an f1.8 and a shutter speed of 1/6 of a second. So we have major motion blur. I definitely didn't pick this, and if I did, then I was an absolute idiot to pick this. Although we do have an ISO of 200, so if we did want to edit it, then we definitely could, but we're not going to because of the motion blur. Now this one here I did like, because it's just kind of a shot of the, you know, one of the instruments that they were using that evening. So I think I'll just about there to crop it in. And I'll just push auto just to make it a little bit easier. And I'll bring it up a few more stops. We'll add in some more contrast. I think we'll make it a little bit cooler. Just like that. And then we'll go into the colour mixing. And we can change the colours. No, that's not what I want to do. I just want to... And then a bit of texture. Do we think it needs a vignette? No, I don't think it does. I think we'll just export that as is. And I think what we'll also do here as well is we'll create a black and white version with some more contrast. Yes, more contrast. And we'll export that as well. So let's move on to the next image here. And I think we'll go to this one. Now this is quite a dark one. Actually, no, let's go to another band. And I think we'll go to this gentleman here. Now, what have we got for the settings? We have 100th of a second, 2500 on ISO and an f4. So this was definitely the 24-105. And I think we should be able to bring that exposure up without introducing too much noise into the image that, you know, isn't already there. We've got a pretty clean image, if I'm brutally honest. As is. So it shouldn't, you know, be too much. Just adding some contrast. I think what we'll do is, because I'm getting some quite harsh lighting off of here, and especially here, there were some lights that they decided to try and bounce off the walls, but it didn't work in the favour of what they wanted to do. So that's fine. And then we've got this horrible kind of pink lighting here on the subject. So I think what we'll do is we will get rid of the colour in it. And I think we'll just make this one black and white. And we'll add in some more contrast. And I think we'll crop in just to focus in on the subject a little bit more. And then I think we'll add in some sharpness and texture. And we'll put in some noise reduction and a little bit of masking because it doesn't need much masking. And we will export that to the camera roll. So I think now we'll move on to the next one. Let's have a look. This gentleman here I quite liked. What settings do we have? So we've got an f4, so it's a 24-105. So let's have a look. Let's have a look what Lightroom tells us to do, shall we? Let's push on auto and oh yeah, we don't like that. So I think first of all what we're going to do is we're going to cool that down to there. We've got a pretty sharp-ish image. Yeah, it kind of falls apart when you really zoom in, obviously. But that's fine. The exposure here is on point. Here I quite like it, although I do actually want to make it a little bit brighter. Now I am going to bring down the highlights a little bit more. No, I'm not. They're going to go back up again. There we go. To about there. And we're going to bring the whites down to there. Drop the blacks. And then the colour, we're going to go to colour mix. Nice blue feel. Just like that. And I think we'll have another black and white version of this. So we will export this. Actually, I'm going to crop in again because it's a little bit of a big image. Like there is a lot of, a lot of information here that we've already got. And I think what we'll do is we'll just export that to camera roll. And then we will make this black and white. And we will up the contrast. Like that. Actually, let's have a look at the shadows. Drop some of them shadows down. There. We'll export that one. So, next image. Let's have a look. Oh, God, there's so many to even go through. You know what? I'm going to save this for the next episode. Thanks for joining me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.